Azubu, their starting player today. It is
Azubu SuperNova.
SuperNova. Ready to explode.
Yeah. He has to. He's up against a strong opponent. Starting to the top left. The Leenock the Zerg player, the best player on the team.
FXO Leenock.
And guys, once again, if you are currently watching this, there is already a thread up on Reddit. It's under new. And if you, of course, go to Reddit and check that out, make sure that you read the contents first. But if you approve, the button that leads to the top is always something that just allows you to share with fellow StarCraft fans what's going on right now, even when Twitch is down.
It's a very, difficult concept to understand at first, but if you like a topic, for example, like the one about this GSTL, you press the arrow that goes up. If you approve, you go up. If you don't, then it's there. You go down, and it's very simple. It's even color coded. The up is red and the down is blue.
Yeah.
It's not in any way related to the colors of these two players.
You should always make an informed decision on that topic. And currently, as mentioned, there is a thread that states that you can also watch the GSTL on GOM TV if Twitch has still issues. It's under new.
Yeah, it's under new.
Yeah.
That's where the new topics are found.
Exactly, the new ones.
Yeah, very, very true. We have CC first versus Hatch first here going down, and it's a CC first at the wall.
Yeah, CC first on the high ground. And this is the safer option that you can go for. If you start with a very early pool, the Zerg player can still force a cancel or at least break through. But this is not the case here for Leenock. He goes into gas and then pool, so he plays a little bit of a greedy opening, but he can get away with it. And he knows what's going on. He has the Overlords already scouting on patrol, trying to find out, okay, do you have something sent out? Is there an SCV en route? Is there maybe a proxy barracks? Not really what he expects. Would have sent a drone out if he really assumes that's the case. But at this point, we have him just with a normal opening, Overlord in position, spotting everything that's happening. So he knows that for now, he's quite safe.
Yeah, he also checked with a drone in his main base briefly. You guys saw it on camera just to make sure there was nothing in the main. Find that line of sight blocker. Every now and then on DMZ, you'll see players do weird proxies over there. Rare, but Leenock not taking any chances as far as in-base proxies go. And now he sees everything like you said. He does not, however, see the gas timing just yet, and SuperNova takes them on the left, so Leenock's not going to be able to scout that unless he turns his Overlord, which he has to make a tough choice because the Marine is coming out soon.
For Leenock, important here that he still has now, with the speed, of course, the potential to be aggressive here. We have him with all the knowledge in the world. Overlord already getting in the position at the bottom right. The second one is moving in from the left. Double Queen has been started. So for Leenock, this is kind of the opening that he wants to get. He has the information what's going on. He can take a third base behind it, secure it with the speed that he has. He has still a 20 additional gas, pulled out of the extractor after that. But right now, pretty standard opening by both players.
Yeah, very much the case. He keeps one Harvester in the gas, which means that he could still be aggressive later on. Or just get a slightly earlier tech with that, so it's a little bit of a middle ground.
Talked a little bit about Leenock's ratio so far in Heart of the Swarm in offline matches against Terran. He has a 56% win ratio. Not the best, but you have to consider that the games that he lost were against players like Innovation, for example, to whom he lost twice. So already a very important statistic here. For SuperNova, on the other hand, he played 4 best-of-3s against Zerg, and he won 3 of them. He's currently with his win against Burning, with one against Dong Ragu, and also with a win against Scarlet in a pretty good position. The only match against Zerg that he did lose was his first one, that was against JKS all the way back in February.
Yeah. So that was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was actually the beta.
Yeah, that was that the GSTL preseason where he did the Baneling all-in? So he died to basically one base Baneling all-in, which is...
Yeah, and since then he won all his games.
Yeah, I mean, if you consider that, that's a pretty good ratio. And he's going into Hellbats right now. So we'll be doing some Hellbat drops. We see this almost every single Terran versus Zerg these days. And the Zerg player has a lot of different ways they can respond. The most important thing to do is to make sure that with your Queens, you target down the medevacs and pull your drones away so that the Hellions can't continue to chase.
What we currently see for Leenock is a third base, and with him having to defend 3 bases, it's going to be a little bit iffy, because he has to rely on speedlings here so far. He doesn't have a Roachbone, he goes into the tech now, and usually when you see Hellbats, which is by the way right now not the case, he goes into the Widow Mines first, it's a little bit tricky to defend with Zerglings only. But so far it really seems that SuperNova has a 2-phase attack planned out here, going into Widow Mines first and then following it up with a Hellbat drop.
Exactly. You know, the Widow Mines Mines here also going to allow him to be a little bit safe against perhaps Baneling Roach aggression that comes out really fast. We do see the Roach Warren going down here now for Leenock. Lair is halfway done. Ludo Mines could be used in a drop, but right now he's just using them defensively as his medevacs aren't ready. And Stim is getting close to being done as well, so he's going to have a follow-up timing here that he can be aggressive to try to clear up creep if he wants to.
He's already going for the Spore and Spine Crawlers. He knows that he needs them against Terran players. It's so important, and he will be safe against Widow Mines with the detection that he will have, and also fairly safe against the Halberds if he starts to build Roaches right away, which we can assume. Extra Queens are already on the way, so here comes the Medivac boosting in with the Afterburners, and Leenock is getting the first few Roaches, but he's lacking a little bit behind. Good position for the Spore Crawler, though.
Yeah, the Spore Crawler here going to help out so much. It means that it's really hard for SuperNova to chase these drones with the Medivac. He has to actually walk.
Nice. Aliens don't do anything at all, and of course, one of the biggest problems with Halberds is that they're very, very slow, but Leenock has to pull those drones.
That was really nicely done there at the last second. If he had waited any more, though, that could have been a disaster. But notice that the Spore Crawler makes such a difference. Otherwise, he would have just picked up the Hellions and chased literally with the Medivac and dropped on top of the drones.
Not only the picking up, but also it's just so much more effective if you use Zerglings against Halberds when the Halberds are not healed by a Medivac. So this comes into play too. The Spore Crawler is really coming through for Leenock here, and his defense was great. He took down the Hellions at the natural, and he nearly suffered no losses at the Halberds in the main base. But now there's an additional drop, and this time the Halberds trying to move in, doing no more damage against Leenock, who's currently just adding more Roaches, going into speed +1/+1 also on the way. But so far, the Zerg player with a very good defense against SuperNova's aggression.
Extremely. He's only lost 6 Harvesters here. So many more resources lost by SuperNova as far as the drops go. And overall resources lost, he's also behind. So the investment not really paying off for him just yet. He's not done with it, though. He's going to continue to drop. And it's important that he keeps his medevacs alive.
Yep. He's just trying to keep on the pressure now. Whereas we have the 1-1 upgrade now, we have a couple of Roaches on the field, and the Baneling Nest is also being started. So part of Leenock's strategy, who saturates 3 bases, going up to 58 Harvesters. But he has a lot of free supply. He can actually decide to hit a timing with 1-1 if he wants to. But for now, he has to defend against SuperNova. Exactly.
Here's that follow-up push I was talking about. We saw this just yesterday. By Ryung, where you come out with a few Marauders, Stim, and Combat Shields right after your first waves. If you keep some of the Hellbats alive, they tank the damage against the Zerglings. It's a really nice push here. He's got a few Widow Mines as well.
Very different, though, what Leenock does compared to live yesterday. The Roaches already at the front trying to tank the damage. The Spinecrawler is gone. Where are those reinforcements? He needs them now. Marauders alone will take down all of those Roaches, so he needs more. And here come the Banelings, but they don't do too much.
Yeah, they don't do a whole lot at all with really good tanking there by the Marauders. Still, though, the Roach numbers should push this back very easily.
The Widow Mines were already triggered, so the Roaches can push this back, but there are even more Hellbats on the way, and also, of course, the Marauders here that will come through for the Terran player. Leenock, for now, has fended off the attack by SuperNova, but he's not done just yet. There's just so much DPS for the Terran player.
Yeah, Medevacs here doing a lot for him. Hellbats tanking the damage as well. He needs just a few more Roaches if he's going to hold, and he's losing so much already, but he will push it back.
The 1-1 upgrade's really important at this point for Leenock. He needs to rely on that armor upgrade, especially now that SuperNova is about to complete +1 attack. More Banelings are now on the way, and he is just relying on more units. He needs them. SuperNova is still on the even supply. He doesn't have a third base. He's just building the third command center, but this aggression is just so much. The Zerglings melting away, and those Marauders are doing such a great damage against those armored Roaches.
Exactly. He's got so much here. Leenock does have a macro hatchery. It's helping him out quite a bit here, but SuperNova does not stop the aggression. He's rallying more and more units across. The Medevac's getting low on energy, however.
Yeah, but the Medivacs are really what keeps this aggression alive. This attack, SuperNova is moving in again, and now Leenock is relying on more Banelings and Zerglings, but the third is already gone, and with the Hellbats that we have streaming in for SuperNova, Lings will have a tough time against this army.
They absolutely will. Banelings being targeted down here already by Marauders, and even though he's out of energy, he can use these Medevacs to pick up and run away at any time.
Leenock is in trouble here. SuperNova taking out that third base and killing even more units, taking a 20 supply lead in the game now, starting the +2 tech upgrade, and now suddenly the boost into the main base. Leenock immediately is trying to make this happen, but the problem is that the ramp will now be under total control of SuperNova.
Well, if he decides to go for it, he actually allows Leenock up here a small mistake. And he's going to have to pick up early, but you were so right. If he had controlled that ramp, he could have done so much more with this.
The mobility alone is just working for SuperNova here. He's keeping Leenock on his toes, and as long as Leenock has to micro to keep his bases alive, he will make mistakes, and SuperNova is just macroing up behind it. He has the third command center now. The orbital upgrade is already done. His second attack upgrade is about to be completed, and with the double engineering bay and the armory ready, he can now go into the armor upgrades too.
I really like what Leenock's doing, taking the base at the 9 o'clock, because he knows the base in the center is impossible for him to take with all that pressure on him. So this is a good choice by him. Losing that hatchery was such a huge blow to not only his economy but his production. That's why that macro hatchery was so important. SuperNova did not miss a beat with his +2 attack, so that's going to be done very soon as well here, and that means his next push is going to be a lot stronger since Leenock is not ready with 2-2 just yet.
Very good map awareness here of SuperNova, sees the Zergling streaming in and immediately raises the post. We have seen Terran players making the mistake of not reacting and then losing the game or losing too many harvesters, but SuperNova playing a very crisp game here, a very good unit composition play, a great ratio that he uses against his opponent, and this is very tough for Leenock to hold. SuperNova has great decisions here, going into +3. He has now a +2 attack done, and he just makes all the right choices. He goes into additional medivacs, he goes into Widow Mines to just make sure that his mobility will always shine. And I'm a bit afraid for Leenock here. Yes, he has the third base now, he goes into a fourth, but he is still stuck with roaches and Zerglings.
Yeah, this is a tech that's a little bit awkward. He starts his Spire now, and Baneling speed will be done pretty soon. So that's going to help him when he fights on creep especially, but I don't know, man. With this many roaches, a lot of Leenock's supply, he's down 40 supply and 26 roaches. That's so much of his supply. He's going to use it well here. Going to try to take out some SCVs, but the problem is he just doesn't have enough time to do any real damage. He kills a bunker, has to retreat. SuperNova's army is so mobile. It's so huge right now. He's got Stim, of course, to help chase these down.
The problem for Leenock really being that SuperNova is a step ahead of him. Leenock doesn't drop any time with those upgrades. He goes into +2/+2, but SuperNova is already heading into +3 and he won't stop. He has an advantage in income and also, of course, in supply. So the tech alone is going to give Leenock a very tough time. At this point, SuperNova just doesn't allow Leenock to get back into the game. Leenock is behind. He's trying to close the gap, but he can't really do it. And now those roaches are in a very bad spot. The Banelings go down against the Widow Mines and SuperNova pushes in again.
He's pushing in here. He has 11 medevacs out right now, and they are really helping to heal this army. Leenock goes in for another push, gets that Widow Mine down. He wants to commit here, but he needs a few more Banelings, and Burrow is almost done. That's not really going to be too useful in a fight, though.
For Leenock, he needs high attack. Infestors with Fungal would, of course, be great just to stop this army from dodging, from going for the kiting. But he's going into the Spire attack. And the big problem is that he cannot afford this. He doesn't have the gas to really utilize the Spire.
And also, keep in mind that even though Leenock was ahead in upgrades, he never really could have capitalized on that. Now it's going to get close. Right now it's 2-1 versus 2-2, but then it's going to be 3-1 versus 2-2.
He's dropping into the main base and trying to hit that fourth at the same time. Great choice here by SuperNova, spreading his opponent out thin, and this is really tough to defend against.
Yeah, Widow Mine's here in the main base going to, well, nice defense here by Leenock, but the problem is there's another attack over here with a few Marines and Marauders at the third, and he's going to lose the fourth hatchery.
Three-pronged attack by SuperNova, doing a lot of damage, taking down the fourth base. Another drop in the main base now, once again going strong. Leenock struggling to split his units well against this army. He's going into the first set of Mutalisks right now, but we have so many Marines on the map that it's going to be tough to really work with them.
Yeah, you were so right about the gas deficit before. He only makes one Muta right now. And SuperNova, look at his bank. He has 24. In total, 4 Mutas out now. Excuse me, 5. That was the 5th one coming out. But look at the bank that SuperNova has built here. He has 800 gas, 1,600 minerals, and he has the better army. He has the better upgrades now as well.
And you know what are 5 Mutalisks going to do against Widow Mines on the map, against this many Marines? Not a whole lot. Of course, he wants something to take down his opponent's medivacs. That is the most important part for him right now. Take down those heavy gas units. But he needs a lot more Mutalisks than that. He's building another 5, but there are just 29 Marines on the map, and we also have 8 Widow Mines, and the Mutalisks have to be very careful. SuperNova is just pushing in with everything that he has. He's securing his bases with missile turrets, getting more upgrades. But Leenock is building up an army that can now try at least contend with what SuperNova has on the map.
Exactly. You know, he does have a pretty high Baneling count, and the anti-air for SuperNova is a little bit slim here because he's gone for mostly Marauders and Hellbats. So the Mutas will be able to do a little bit for him, especially with those good Baneling hits there.
Leenock is showing great resilience in this game. He is trying to go for a better composition. His upgrades are through. He's on 2-2. He cannot go into 3-3 since he doesn't have a Hive yet. So he wants to rely more on Mutalisks now that he doesn't have to spend his gas into upgrades anymore. But for him, it's very important to not only stop this onslaught of attacks, but also to turn things around and just turn the tide, put the aggression on SuperNova. But the Terran player just doesn't allow it.
No, he certainly does not. That Mutalisk block got hit by a Widowmine as well. Hatchery is also gone. SuperNova is having some problems finishing the game, but he just keeps cutting Leenock's legs off, so to speak, you know, and they are regenerating because he's a Lean Octopus, but
SuperNova just has to make sure that he doesn't lose one of those big battles right now.
Yeah.
If he can keep this up, at some point Leenock is gonna break apart. There are already cracks in the defense of the Lean Octopus, but SuperNova, with all that bank that he has the production, and he takes down this fort over and over again, whereas we have SuperNova now using his map control to establish himself a fourth base with a planetary.
yeah, he even has just, you know, these little things like adding one siege tank in the middle of the map there makes such a big difference. Leenock slowly switching out of this Roach composition. Does not, if I'm not mistaken, have an infestation pit just yet. No, he does not. So that means not only can he not start Hive, but he won't be able to have any infestors to help out his army either. And he would love to have it, he just doesn't have the money.
Yeah. Money is an issue for him. He's moving, he knows he has to do something, but without Fungal, it is just so hard to hit those units. They are kiting 6 days to Sunday and always luring him back into the Widow Mines that have been beforehand. SuperNova playing a great game here. Another base to the right side. And Leenock, he was a player famous for his bailing run by, circling run by, his burrowed bailings, but these are things that we don't see in this match.
Yeah, we certainly don't, and I have to say, I really have to hand it to Leenock for being so far behind and losing his base so many times, just still staying in this. You know, he finds a planetary here, he's going to damage that. At the very least, he may even be able to kill it.
He's still standing proud, he's trying to go for it. The fourth base cannot, the fifth base cannot be established for SuperNova since there is a burrowed circling. But again, all these units just moving in. The mobility of the Terran player with those medivacs is just amazing, and he's utilizing it so well.
Yeah.
Defends his fourth base, drops the fourth of Leenock, goes into the main base after that.
I mean, he does get cleaned up here, but he draws Leenock back. Leenock no longer having the map control at the front. +3 armor nearly done for SuperNova. That completes his chain, so it's going to be 3-3 versus 2-2 because there's still no infestation pit. Leenock can't get 3-3.
SuperNova is building more and more missile turrets the entire game, and there are the Widow Mines. They take down the Mutalisk, and this is game GG.